Hello, mathematicians. This is Mr. Mailhot. Let's do some math. This is page 3 of your packet. The first couple pages were your balloon bungee quiz that you should have used your pink packet to complete. Remember, that's your individual grade for that project. That'll be a separate grade from the whole 20 points that the packet's worth, okay? For this week and part of next week, we're going to look at a few ideas that we've seen before and a couple new ones to kind of finish out this topic of graphing lines and linear equations. So to get started, we're going to look at converting standard to slope-intercept form, and this is like a little puzzle or brain teaser that we're going to complete. Remember, before we even get started, you can pause the video at any time, slow it down, maybe speed it up if you want to. For sure, go back a few seconds or a few minutes if you need to listen again or catch something you missed, okay? Also, anything that I'm writing down here, you should probably write down on your packet as well, okay? With that, let's get started. Remember, standard form was this, ax plus by equals c. We looked at it that way when we did our coin problem, like the nickels and quarters adding up to some amount of money. And slope-intercept form, that's the one we're super familiar with, mx plus b, y equals mx plus b. One of the most important things for you going into high school math, algebra 1 or algebra 2, even farther into pre-calculus, is being able to go between the two very quickly. So that's what this worksheet focuses on, okay? Let's read the directions. It says, solve the following problems and match that answer to the correct letter of the alphabet. Enter that letter of the alphabet on the blank corresponding to the problem number. Okay, so looking here, I see a lot of blanks. I think it's supposed to be maybe some type of joke or something like that. And you see all the letters down here with different numbers. Those numbers underneath the letters will be answers to problems that we'll do here. Okay, and this is going to be a short video. I'm not going to do very many of these, just a couple so you get a refresher, and then you'll finish this for today. All right, so for the first 9 problems, 1 through 9, it says identify the slope. Identify the slope after we rewrite the equations into slope-intercept form. So just as a reminder, I'm going to make it y equals mx plus b right here. That's what we're turning it into. You see how, like for number 1, for example, it looks like ax plus by equals c. It's set up in standard form. We're going to rearrange it to slope-intercept form. Slope-intercept form, has the x on the other side of the equal sign. So that means here we need to subtract 3x from both sides, which cancels it out. Bring down the 4y equal sign. Now here's a part where some students get tripped up. Number 1, those are not like terms. You can't combine them. That's not going to give you, I don't know, 9x. Also, you see how in the slope-intercept form the mx comes first before the b? This is just your constant term or a whole number. It's just a number with no variable. So when you go to write the next step of your problem, just how the mx term is in front of the constant term here, let's put that negative 3x in front of the positive 12, and now we're starting to look like y equals mx plus b. We're getting close. The last step we got to do is divide this 4 out, which will cancel here. When you divide on one side of the equation, you got to divide the other side, and that means the whole entire side. Okay, now I'm running out of space here. You guys can write small if you'd like. I see y equals negative 3/4 x plus 3, because 12 divided by 4 gives you 3. Hey, side note, if you catch a mistake on any of these videos, like my last one had a small mistake, if you catch a mistake, email me with the video and the timestamp, and I'll go check. And if you caught one, I'll give you a little extra credit. Okay? Let's finish out this problem. It says identify the slope. Well, the slope is right here, negative 3/4. So let's go find that up here. I'm looking for negative 3/4. I see it right here, the letter P. That was problem number 1. So on blank number 1, I see a couple 1s. That means we need to put P, a P there, because that was problem 1. Man, I don't know if I see any other 1s. Okay? Remember, the goal is to enter that letter of the alphabet on the blank that corresponds with the problem number. That's why we put it as number 1. Let's do one more like this, and then we'll do one of the ones from the bottom half. I'm looking at number 8 because number 8 looks deceivingly simple. Just because it's x minus y equals 1. I mean, that's pretty simple looking. But if you're going to rewrite it in slope-intercept form, excuse me, you still follow the same steps. Subtract the x from both sides. You're left with a negative y. Do not forget that negative sign. It's part of the problem. Put the x term first, and there'll be a plus 1. Now, how do we get rid of that negative y? Well, remember that's like a negative 1. Now, here's the long explanation. Let's divide everything by negative 1. Right? That would cancel out the negative 1. A negative divided by negative is positive, and that's left with just y. And then this would just be like a 1x, so that negative divided by negative again is just going to give you x. And 1 divided by negative 1 would be a minus 1. That's the long explanation. Here's the shortcut, so you don't have to do that process every time. If you have an equation, let me fix this up again. If you have an equation where one of the variables here is negative, and you just want to make it positive, you can divide by negative 1. That's what we did. A shortcut to save you some writing is if you flip this sign, change it to be positive, like you did here, well, flip all of the other signs, switch all the other signs on the other side. This negative became positive, and this positive became negative. That's a little shortcut to kind of save some writing. Oh, excuse me, that's my dog. Hold on. All right, mathematicians, I'm back. Sorry about that. Anyways, let's finish this problem number 8. I hope my dog doesn't bark again. It says identify the slope. The slope is right in front of the x. In this case, that means it's a 1. The slope is of just 1, or 1 over 1. So, going back up here, I see letter E has a 1. I don't see a 1 anywhere else. So, since that was problem number 8, let's find all of the 8s up here. Here's an 8. That's going to be an E. Here's another 8. That's going to be an E. There's another 8. E. Any other 8s? I think that's it. Okay, let's do one more from the bottom half. In this time, it says identify the y-intercept. So not the slope. That means in this slope-intercept form, we're going to identify the last term. Okay? Let's pick one at random. Well, dang, let's do it. I'll just knock out an easy one for you guys. Number 15. That's already in slope-intercept form, isn't it? Y equals mx plus b. Totally is. I think all these other ones you got to rearrange just like we did before. But for this one, the y-intercept is negative 12. Negative 12. So let's go back up. This is problem 15. So remember that, 15. And we need a negative 12. Well, let's see. Where do I see a negative 12? Right here. Problem L. So any 15s in the blanks is going to be an L. So there's an L. Any other 15s? That's it. Only one blank there. Okay, I'm excited to see what this brain teaser with this the fill in the blanks comes out to be. All right, get this done, and remember, you learn and get smarter by doing, not just watching. So now go do some math. Bye.